in the last sort of 5 minutes of the program, if we just sort of take one more question, and it sort of goes on the same concept. Again, Shafia's friend is asking the question, if God is all-powerful, why does he permit people to suffer and children to starve to death? Either he cannot or he will. If he cannot, the assertion is he's not powerful. If he will not, then he is evil. For both of these reasons, they think God has not been able to be worshipped. I think the whole concept here is that why does God actually allow this to happen, and why does he stop it? And if he doesn't stop it, surely it's within his realm to stop such things.
It's an interesting scenario presented as to why.
Why?
You know, the question is always asked why.
It's the eternal question. Why?
After some difficulty or catastrophe has been faced. I'm sure right now the people in the world, in certain parts in Japan and in Australia and other, where they've suffered so many natural catastrophes, they've been asking the question why. And people look at them and say, why? What did they do to deserve this? At the same time, no one asks the question why when they're receiving all these benefits of their Creator up to that point. How come they failed to recognize the life they were living of luxury and ease, the life that was so good to them? And no one screams out, why? Why, God? Why are you so good to me? Why are you so kind to me? Why you give me all these things? Why I deserved all this? No, the question why never comes into play until that moment, which is really in the span of lives individually or collectively, is really quite small. We're never suffering our entire lives. There's no eternal night in terms of suffering. There's always a dawn, there's always the rise of sun again. This is the alteration of destinies individually and collectively of nations. And God speaks about that, and that he causes these days, the Ayyamullah, he calls them, the days of Allah, they keep changing. Sometimes you go to adversity, sometimes you go to prosperity. It's only to see, as he said, that which of you will be grateful for my favors, and during times of gratitude, as the Prophet said, this is the time to pray. This is the time to reflect and to pull God into your life and to make him your shield in moments of difficulty. It's shocking that people don't recognize that the believers, even in these difficulties, often are spared this measure of a disaster or troubles as others. And people think otherwise. You've already had the question, why do you believers have a but in fact, we find that in the history of mankind, the history of religions, it's the believers who are spared from these things and saved sometimes remarkably. As the Prophet alayhi salam, the founder of this Jamaat, said, that one thing God has revealed to me, Inni uhafizu kulla man fid dar, I will protect and save everyone who's in your house. It didn't just mean the four walls of his house. It meant this is like the Noah's Ark. This was like the people walking with Moses to get through the river while Pharaoh was drowned. This was like the people with Prophet Muhammad ﷺ who went into battle with just some sticks and some stones against armies who had swords and spears, and they came out victorious. And all of the other difficulties, famines and pestilences, whatever happened, earthquakes, it's the believers who are saved and who are singled out for another blessing of Allah, as opposed to those who don't have belief.
And the blessings are such that the program has flown by and we've reached the end of the program. I would say to Shafia and indeed to Tanveer Sahib from Birmingham, we have received your questions. Inshallah, we will be covering those off on another program. And to our other viewers, thank you for watching. You know what to do if you want to send in your question. It's faithmatters@mta.tv. faithmatters@mta.tv is the email. 44 for the UK, 208 687 8037. It's for those wanting to use the fax. Azhar Sahib, Ayaz Sahib, thank you once more for your questions, and I just leave you with a parting thought on Faith Matters once again. Does God exist? The famous story of footprints in the sand, a person reflecting on life with God, saying, you promised me, Lord, that if I followed you in life, you would walk with me always. But I've noticed that during the most testing of times of my life, there is only one set of footprints in the sand. God answered, it was at those most testing and turbulent times that I carried you. Until the next time, from all of us on Faith Matters, Assalamu alaikum.